Today, I'm giving you 5 tips on how to stay warm while running when it is freezing outside. Canada in the winter is very cold. So how do you dress for that? How do you dress for the cold? And that could be Texas cold, or that could be, hey, I'm going on vacation to Canada cold and I still need to run. You want to dress with the expectation that when you first step out the door, you're gonna be a little bit cold. Because as you start running, your core temperature is going to raise a lot. And if you dress with the intention of being warm from the very start, you are going to be melting by the very end. So you don't wanna be shaking kind of cold, but expect to be a little bit chilly when you first start out. Tip 2, and I know this from experience, is to protect your hands and protect your ears. The thing that will make me miserable faster than anything else is when my hands get overly cold, and especially when my ears get overly cold. Wear something like a beanie, or like we call here in Canada, a toque. Or a great tool that I've found useful for all sorts of stuff is a gaiter, or you might know it as a buff. You can wear it like a hood so you can cover up your head and your neck, or when you start to get hot as you run, you can just roll it up into a headband and cover up your ears and keep some of that wet hair out of your face. The other thing is your hands. Once they get cold, it is so difficult to get them warm again. So my very favorite thing to wear is these convertible mittens that I got from Target. They were like $15, and you can start off with the mittens over your hands, and then as you start to warm up, you probably won't need all that heat anymore, and you can just flip them back. They Velcro to the back of your hand, and then you're basically wearing bicycle gloves. It'll keep your palms warm, it'll keep the back of your hands warm, but you won't overheat. And then if it gets windy and you start to get cold again, just flip them back over the top and you're warm again. Trust me on this. Do not be brave and go out with gloves. You'll hate yourself later. My third tip for you is just simply merino wool. It's lightweight, but it's also warm. It's breathable, but it's also warm. It's moisture wicking. You get me here, it's also very warm. Another really, really great thing about merino wool is that it's like anti-stink. So you can go out in this and sweat every bit of water out of your body, and this stuff is probably not gonna stink afterwards. Now granted, there are different levels of stinky people, but what's beautiful is once you put it in the wash, even if you did somehow manage to get it super stinky, the stink leaves it. Unlike those like scratchy sweaters that your Aunt Kathy used to get you for Christmas, this stuff is super soft and it's really, really thin. So it's very easy to layer underneath things, and you can really layer on top of it and it's not bulky at all. My next tip for you is to dress in layers. You can start with the very same base layer every single time, and then as it gets colder out, just add another layer on top. So let's go into that a little bit more. So let's say it's 40 to 50 degrees outside. What I would typically wear for this kind of level of cold is a long sleeve merino wool base layer underneath just a regular dry fit shirt that you'd kind of get from a race. And then, believe it or not, I would just wear shorts. My legs don't get cold, but you might find that yours do. So if that's the case, you can even just put a pair of merino wool tights on underneath your shorts. And then of course, I'm gonna have something to cover my ears, then I'm gonna have my convertible gloves on, and then just regular old running socks and shoes. Nothing special down there. When you're running, that friction and that blood pumping to your feet is really gonna keep your feet pretty warm, especially at this temperature. Now, when the temperature gets a little bit lower down towards freezing, I'm gonna keep that same base, but I'm definitely going to be wearing some merino wool tights underneath my shorts this time. No question about that. And then I'm probably going to add on another layer on top of what I've already got on. So on top of my merino wool, on top of my drum fit, I'm gonna add something like a light jacket or maybe a hoodie on top of that. I'm then going to add a toque, and I'm also going to have the gaiter for my neck. Same thing on the bottom, on my feet. I'm just gonna wear my regular shoes and socks. All right, let's take it a little bit colder. We're gonna take the exact same setup that we used for freezing temperatures. So we're gonna have our merino wool tights underneath our shorts. We're gonna have our merino wool shirt underneath our dry fit shirt, underneath our hoodie or whatever light jacket we have on. But at this point, we are going to bump up our gloves to something a little bit more substantial. And I'm a huge fan of mittens. And I know, you're thinking, mittens. Mittens are for children. No, they're not. It keeps all of your fingers together so that they can get warmth from each other. But what makes these mittens super, super cool, see how there's a little tab right there that says pull? Pull that open. And look! You have fingers, so you can actually do things like unzip your coat, which I wouldn't normally be able to do with mittens on. But if you can't find those, because this is the first time I've ever seen them, you can also find some heavier duty convertible gloves like the ones that I've got from Target that are meant for super cold temperatures, or at the very least, wear some of those like magic mittens that you can get at the dollar store underneath your mittens. So if you need to have a little bit more dexterity, you can pull those off. If you need to tie your shoes, maybe even get some of those that have the smartphone technology stuff so you can actually touch your phone, even though those never work for me, but maybe you'll get lucky. Now, on top of my shorts, I'm going to wear an extra layer. Now, ideally, if you can find something that is windproof and waterproof, that would be perfection. But if you're short like me, it's very difficult to find those kind of things to fit. So I just pop a pair of regular sweatpants over the top of that. So it gives me an extra layer of protection there. I'm gonna wear another jacket on top of my hoodie at this point, and this is gonna be a place where you're gonna wanna play with it a little bit. You might find that this is too much heat for you, but a lot of it depends on the level of humidity and the wind, so if it's humid out or if it's windy, you're definitely gonna want that extra layer. I recommend something like a really low profile puffer jacket. Look for Primaloft. So that is gonna be really, really super warm, but not really puffy. You're not gonna be walking around like a marshmallow. You're gonna have room to swing your arms. Now at this point, you're probably going to want to add a little something extra on your feet. So those socks that I know are not gonna give me blisters that I'm used to running in, I'm gonna keep those right up against my feet. But what I am gonna do is I'm going to add another extra warmer sock on top of that. And this is another place where merino wool is great because it is so warm yet so low profile. So this isn't going to bulk your shoe up just a ton, but you might find that you may want to get another pair of shoes that's just maybe even a half size bigger just to allow space. Now, if you're not going to be doing this all the time and you can just deal with having bulky socks for like 1 or 2 days, don't worry about it. But for me, I knew I was going to be in Calgary for several months, so I went ahead and I bought my shoes an extra half size bigger specifically to allow for those extra socks. When you're running, and I'm sure you've noticed this, you sweat. Even when it's 7 degrees outside, you're still going to sweat. And when it's 7 degrees outside, even though wool stays warm when it's wet, you are still going to get cold. That's all there is to it. So if you need to stop to tie your shoes, if you need to stop to get a drink of water, try to keep it as quick as you possibly can. Don't stop at the water stop with your run group and have a 10-minute conversation with your friend Bobby. Just keep running. Make Bobby come with you, because if you stop, all of that circulation that's keeping you warm is going to go away, and you're going to get cold and you're going to be very uncomfortable, and you might be able to gain that warmth back, but it's going to be a hard few minutes and you're going to be really angry with yourself. Keep moving, otherwise you're just going to be really cold. So now you know how to stay warm while running in frigid temperatures. But if you know that you are going to be running in temperatures that are below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, that's something that I have yet to experience, send me a message at riotrunproject.org or leave a comment down below. And I'm sure out of the millions of winter sport enthusiasts out here, there is someone that I can find that can give me some accurate information specific to you. And also, if you have any questions that do not pertain to today's video, please feel free to go ahead and leave a comment down below. I would love to make a video specifically for you. It would be my pleasure. All right, that is all I have for you today. It looks like I need to go rob a bank now. So I will see you next Tuesday. Bye. Where's him over there? How am I supposed to shoot a video with you guys in here?
good hug. Oh, good boy. Oh my goodness, you're so good. Okay, let's go